Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. My name is Brittany. Thank you so much for watching today's video. As you guys saw by the title of today's video, I'm going to be talking all about my eyebrows and my microblading experience. So if you are interested, then please keep watching. Before I get into this video, I do want to say that I was offered this service for free, but all the opinions are my own. This is my experience with the whole microblading process, not necessarily my experience in particular with the person I went to. So just wanted to put that out there before we get started. I'll put a before and after of what my eyebrows look like going into it, and I'll put that right here. As you guys can tell, they were very thin. I have never had thick eyebrows. Like, even as a kid, my eyebrows were always thin, so it wasn't like I did something that made them very thin. Like, there was this one time where I tried to shape them and I did it too much, but it did not drastically change like how they grew. So long story short, my eyebrows were always thin. There was nothing that I could do. My process of getting my eyebrows done prior to getting microblading, I would maybe go get them threaded I want to say once every like 6 months. Like, I could not go and get them done very frequently, so my eyebrows, like trying to fill them in, it was very difficult because one, I didn't want to touch them because they were already so thin, and two, if I did try to pluck them, it just wouldn't look right. I have kind of always struggled with this issue. I look back, if I could find a picture from high school, I don't know why people were my friend, but my eyebrows just look crazy. I have wanted to get this procedure done for a long time, and it's just been a struggle. And now, like, I have nothing on my eyebrows. Like, I don't even have concealer around them or anything, and I am obsessed. I am so happy. I feel so much more confident. So if you're a person that does struggle with very thin eyebrows, you can't get the desired shape that you're looking for or anything like that, I do highly recommend this. So now I talked a little bit about what my brows were like before. I want to get into the before growing into the microblading procedure and what you can expect and what you need to do before you get them done. One thing that is really important going into it is the preparation for it. I didn't get a lot of questions about this, but I did think it was important to talk about. You need to talk to your microblading artist about before you get this procedure. If you're on any type of skin treatments, like I know, like if you're on Accutane, you actually cannot get microblading. Just know that if you are on any certain like skin regimens, to let them know, because it can affect the process as well as the outcome as well. Any skin concerns, be sure to be upfront about the artist you are working with, because, you know, if, for example, if you're prone to acne like I am, you know, that needs to be put into consideration because it can get irritated. It's very similar to a tattoo, and I have never had a tattoo before, so I didn't necessarily know how that was going to react to my skin because, like I said, I've never had it before. So you definitely want to let your artist know of any skin concerns that you have prior to your appointment, and they'll be able to walk you through everything and figure out what the best path is for you. Since I do break out, I was really worried about getting those, you know, those like little bumps you get if your skin is irritated. I was really afraid that I was going to get that, and she said that that would be a possibility, but thankfully I did not have that. So I was really excited. I was actually so excited about that. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm not breaking out. Like, I was over the moon that, you know, I didn't have those problems. I thought the healing process honestly was going to be a lot worse, but, you know, she assured me in the before it was possible, but thankfully I didn't have to deal with that. The other thing that you should really look into is the different colors you may want, the shape, and the technique. What technique I ended up getting was the ombre, and I ended up getting the shade chocolate. And then what she did was mix a couple of other colors in there, because obviously you know, anything in life is not one dimensional. It has various colors to it. Base was the chocolate color, and then in between she would do like ebony and like different shades, just to make it look as natural as possible. You want to make sure you do your research before everything, because it's very important that you and your artist are on the same page of the desired look you're going for. Okay, so the during, the one that people had the most questions on, like did it hurt and all that stuff, so I will get into all of that. So when I went in there, we did a consultation for about 30 minutes, and what we went over was, like I said before, was my shape that I wanted, the color, as well as doing like a demo. So what she did was she measured out everything on my face and she filled it in. She went in with like this like floss with like black ink on it, and then we lined up my brows and everything. So she did one side, and I honestly could not tell if I liked it or not. I'm being 100% honest. I was kind of like skeptical about it. It did make me kind of nervous, but then when she did the other one, I was like, okay, now I can see the full picture of how this will look in the end. So if you don't like the shape of one when they're doing it and you're like kind of looking at it and you're like, I don't know, have them do both. Like, I think that was like, she said like people do it one by one, and I was kind of like, I don't know how they do that, like, because you don't get the whole effect. We did all of the shaping for my brows. We went ahead and like I laid on the table, and she started to do the outline of my brow first, just so that she could kind of like wipe away all of the outlining that she had before. And then she went ahead and numbed me. It didn't hurt at all. When she put the numbing cream on, I genuinely like didn't feel it until the end. So because obviously like you're going over it and over. It did not hurt at all, just felt like tiny scratches. I don't know if I was bleeding or not. I don't think I was, because she didn't say anything, but at the same time, if I did, she probably just didn't want to like obviously like freak me out, but I don't think I did anyway. I don't think I did. Throughout it as well, she would like hand me a mirror, and I would look, and like I was kind of recording off and on. I didn't want to, you know, make the process longer than it needed to be. So she would just hand me the mirror, and if there was anything I needed to change, I honestly like loved what she was doing, so there wasn't any changes at all really. The overall, it took exactly 3 hours. It took exactly 3 hours for the duration of me being there. So not the procedure. The procedure itself maybe took 2, and then like the mapping maybe took 30 minutes, and then like we kind of chit-chatted, like taking the other 30 minutes was mostly like taking pictures, chit-chatting, me using the restroom, like nothing crazy. So all in all, it took about 3 hours. So you do want to block off, you know, enough time for you to like, obviously I wouldn't do this before work or anything like that. Most important part of this entire process is obviously the aftercare. If you do not take care of them afterwards, it's not gonna come out right, obviously. Right after the treatment, the next 1 to 3 days, your brows are gonna be very, very dark. But once you start to put on the vitamin A and D treatment, that's when they start fading, because the excess pigment that they use starts to come off, as well as like the dead skin around there starts to lift, and your brows actually start to look like what they're gonna look like at day 7. So that is like one important thing to note. They will look very dark, but they fade within the 7 days, and on day 7 to 10, I would say, they would start to look like what, you know, you and your brow artist talked about in the beginning. The number one thing is you want to avoid water at all costs, and it can be challenging this because like water is everywhere, y'all. I really did underestimate how much like my skin gets like wet. Like, it's probably 109 degrees out here in Vegas, and anytime I step outside I just like start sweating. Like one of my sweat glands is actually like right here on the brim of my brow, so you can only imagine like me like damping it just to make sure, you know, it doesn't get like all wet and sweaty. Shower, this is my shower cap. What I would do is put on my shower cap and then like put it slightly over my, what is that, like my eyelid. It was kind of uncomfortable, but it did the job and my brows didn't get wet. So that's usually how I showered. And like obviously starting day 3 I would put the vitamin E treatment on it before I showered, so that's kind of how I avoided it getting wet. I want to make sure that you're not using any skin products that can fade the color of your eyebrows within the 7 days. Like after the 7 days it's fine. I didn't necessarily notice like any crazy peeling. That was one thing I was a little worried about. I was like, oh my god, I'm gonna look like you know, like a what are they called, like a reptile when my brows are peeling. But I really didn't have any of that, thankfully. They healed very well. Like I said earlier, I was really worried about getting like those irritating little pimples around my brows. Thankfully I did not have that either, so I was super happy. I have not gotten a touch-up yet, but I can do like a vlog style video when I do finish that. My brow artist, at least, she recommended going in like, I think she said like I won't have to go in for another like 6 weeks, and like week 7, so she was like, you wait like about 6 weeks, and then every like the longer you wait, you just kind of have to pay a different price. But it's really up to you when you want to go back. If you notice that it looks a little lighter or anything, you can always go back and have them fix it. But overall I am very satisfied with what my brows look like. I am so happy. I highly recommend this procedure, and finding someone that you can trust, that you know does good work, because that is more important than price. Thank you guys so much for watching today's video. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments down below, or you can DM me on Instagram. My Instagram handle is just @BrittanyBarks. Thank you guys again so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye guys.